Snowboarding to me, and let me know if you agree, when I snowboard, it allows me to fall into that flow state where I can think about absolutely nothing except for the wind and the trees around me, or it allows me to think completely deeply on whatever topic that I want to think about. Snowboarding isn't just a physical activity, it's also a spiritual and mental activity. What I've been trying to remember is that feeling that I got when I first started snowboarding, the joy of trying to learn an activity. When you're an expert in something or you're advanced, you've been doing it for years and years and years, you start to not see it through the eyes of a beginner. And those eyes are where you absolutely want to stay. So that's what I want to talk about. Loving those blues and those greens and taking it in through the eyes of a beginner. Seeing things through the mind of a beginner is something that we need to do much more often, but we seldom do as we get older. But I was recently reminded of that from one of my friends. He said something that was kind of mind-blowing. He's been skiing maybe 2 years, got about 5, I don't even think 6 times on the mountain. So when he said something that kind of like made me think, and I've been snowboarding for 30 years, I kind of took heed to it. There was a little bit of frustration in his voice, but also a little bit of joy. He was right at that point where if he gets over that frustrated hump, he's gonna actually enjoy the sport. But there was still that frustration in his tone. He said, "I'm gonna give you a call when we go skiing this year. We're gonna head further up north and then we're gonna work our way down." But this is what he said. He's like, "But I'm all about inexpensive skiing this year because the greens are the greens." And that piece of information, that phrase, the greens are the greens, that was something that was just like, and when he said it, it just made me know, I knew I needed to talk about it. And that's what I want to talk about. And the greens are the greens. That's a piece of information that you kind of need to hold dear when you're guiding somebody in this sport, which is something that we tend to do quite often being veterans of the sport. When you're teaching somebody, you don't need to take them to the big resort right off the bat because there's just going to be a level of frustration that they don't need to deal with. And a new person in the sport needs to get over several hurdles before they actually enjoy the sport. So don't take them where the crowds are, where the lifts are harder to get on. Sometimes it's better for them to have that slow lift ride up the mountain. And to be honest, you can get more edges on snow riding up that slow 4-pack as opposed to that high speed 6 when the lift line is long. So remember, the greens are the greens. And along with that greens are the greens mindset comes one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about. And it was really something that helped me listening to my friend with his level of frustration where he stands. I was thinking about what's one of the easiest ways as we get older to bring some love back to the sport or maintain the love of the sport. And I was working on a concept of learning to love the blues and greens again. And this ties into that perfectly. Sometimes a green run is all you need. And sometimes, almost all the time, if you're in the same region and the mountains are the same height, the green over here is going to be the same as the green over there. So take some time and go to those smaller mountains where you just cruise a green and cruise a blue. And when you learn to love and enjoy that, you get more out of the sport. You'll put more edges to snow. you'll get more joyful runs, you'll have more smiles, you'll pay less, it'll be less crowds, it'll be less frustrations all across the board. So remembering that the greens are the greens and learning to love them again, that's a key to longevity in the sport. And as we get older, we have to work to make every single day that we're on the slopes the best day we ever had. Because you don't know how many more bumps you have in your knees and how many more seasons you're gonna have. So learn to love the blues and greens. And remember, the greens are the greens. I'm Blair, and this is the Dirtbag Association, where our wax is old, our knees are older, but our stoke doesn't know. See you somewhere on the mountain.